Hey everyone, thank you for joining us for the Round 5 review for AFL Fantasy this year. We're going to start by going off with the worst team out of the two this week. So Scott, like always, take it away.
I've got no idea what to say. I didn't have as bad a week as last week, but this is ridiculous. This is crazy. Every week there's this one turning point in the round where it either goes really good for me or it goes really, really bad. And this week, as you can probably tell, was a really, really bad turn. Just that Sunday afternoon, I got home, I had a shower, I sat down on the couch and I relaxed, ready for the Freo game, ready for Fife to fire against Carlton. And then, of course, at the end of the first quarter, he goes into the rooms. I go, oh crap, here we go. Doesn't look good. Comes back out, he's alright after quarter time. Finishes on 59 at the half. I'm thinking, yep, we'll take that. It's looking good. And then, what do I know? Doesn't come back on for the rest of the half.
Ouch.
The rest of the half. And I brought him in and stuck him as captain.
So you traded him in and put the C on him.
Yep, and the person who I traded to him was Bartel, who scored more than him. Just Johannesson and Fife within 3 weeks. That's just ridiculous.
And he wasn't your only injury.
Montagna just sat off the last half a quarter with a hamstring. I reckon he should be fine, but 68 from him is pathetic.
It
but
is.
Still, that Sunday night, I then had Spuds in the name of Hooli and Menadue playing. 56 and 35.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Well, yeah, you actually told me the first time that I would put manager on the field, he's gonna get a 30, and that came to fruition this week. I thought he'd be alright against Melbourne, but he is so useless. I haven't actually given him the time of day to actually watch him play. Far out.
Yeah.
He sits 30 meters away from packs, hoping that the opposition will kick it to him. It's just because we both had one player from that game in Big Maxi Gorn absolutely killing it, but it just got ruined by Menadue for me and Hawley for you as well. So
yeah, well, I vented to my dad that Thursday night before I went to work. I vented to my dad that Melbourne had rested Oliver. I was not happy because then I had to play Menadue or Coriolis on my field, and then what does he score? 35, and then
at
I
least
predicted
you picked the right one out of the two.
Yeah. 5 points is not much in my team. I predicted halfway through that game that you'd played Menadue on your field, and I was correct, and I'm not happy about it.
No, you shouldn't be.
Alright, we'll go through my team now. Up until yesterday in the Anzac Day clash, my defence was looking disgusting. High score of 57, 57 before yesterday's game with Marcus Adams, and then I managed to get a 93 from Fantasia. And D was pathetic again. Ruggles, of course, didn't score what I expected or hoped for. But that's my defence. Anyway, to my midfield, Ablett didn't really expect as much more than that from him. He went off with a couple of injuries early in the first quarter. And then, of course, he got that knee to the back. I reckon he did well to get to 91. Pendles, thank God.
He's back in the
midfield,
midfield, and he is I reckon he's gonna go back to his best in fantasy. So
yeah, well, he had 79 at half time, so that was brilliant.
That's huge.
Paddy Dangerfield almost captained him against Port, but I went with Fife against Carlton, so lost 60 odd points there. Taylor Adams got 70 points in the last half, which was good. Got up to 100 again, so he just seems to keep scraping in those 100 scores. Darcy Parish had a good last half, somehow managed to get to 70. Then Mills obviously had another good week. As you said before, Maxi Gorn in the ruck, brilliant.
He is returned to form, this one.
Yeah, and I'm so happy about it. I mean, to get to 140 wasn't good enough. I mean, he had 102, I think, at
My pick
half-time.
12 in Elite's not looking too bad now, Scott. Everyone was hating on it after the first 3 weeks. Not anymore.
Yeah, well, I wanted him. I just didn't quite get him. Anyway, Stefan Martin did pretty well to get to 92 after an injury. I think we're all happy he didn't be laid out for that game. Then in my forward, Montagna obviously was 68. Then Aaron Hall, lowest score of the year with 94, but that's all right. we weren't expecting him to get 110s, 120s every
94
week.
as your lowest score in 5 weeks as a forward. I think you'd take that. You'd be pretty happy with that.
Well, he's outdone Zach Merritt now, I reckon.
Yeah, exactly.
And then obviously Michael Barlow, he's finally got his first 100 score.
Oh, he looked like a different player to the last couple of weeks. I watched that game. He was
same.
everywhere. He was running hard. 14 tackles. He is now not. He's never going to get dropped now after that one. We were worried.
He was never going to be dropped anyway. That was just ridiculous.
I don't know. He looked too slow out there, but not this week.
Well, him and Maxi Gorn tried to pull my team back into a decent score, but the rest of the Spuds just thought, we're taking him down with us. But yeah, Michael Barlow, he had an awesome end to the second quarter, and then obviously in the last half when Fife wasn't there, he just was in the guts the rest of the game and was amazing.
Mm.
And then obviously Sam Kerridge gets his first 100 of the season, which was lovely, and then...
Well done, Sammy.
Yeah, it was well deserved. And then obviously Daniel Wells had a disappointing week.
Mm.
And then on my benches, I was pretty happy with Mason Cox. He did very well, kicked the first goal of the game. He was off to a fire. It was on fire, sorry. And then obviously Corey Ellis and Sumner didn't do too well.
No.
And then Clay Cameron and Ryan Harwood did pretty decent. Might look to field one of them this week.
Yep, might have to.
All right. Well, anyway, over to your team, which was
Whoa, we have skipped something here, Scott.
What have we skipped?
We have skipped your score and your ranking.
That wasn't deliberately done.
Whatever.
Score of 1878.
1878. Jeez.
Well,
Louise.
I went up 1,100 spots though.
So what? Where are you at now?
33,500.
Man, this is everyone. I mean, we only started this YouTube channel this year, but he had a terrible one last year as well. So he's really making a trend out of these bad fantasy years. You better change it around this week.
It's my trades, Andy. I brought in Johannesson 2 weeks ago. He gets 67 and 70, and then I have to trade him out. This week, I bring in Fife and stick him as my captain. I brought him in instead of Hannah's because I thought I'd be able to save 10, 15, 20k there. Gets 59 as my captain.
Yeah, you should have seen it coming.
If I had brought in Hannah's and then captain Dangerfield, I could have got almost 2,000 in there, and I would have gone up 10,000 spots.
That's enough venting, Scott. Off to my team. Let's lighten the mood a bit. All right. So I'm going to just list off the monster scores or the really impressive scores that I got this week. Heath Shaw in the back line is an absolute beast. He's a rock in my defense. I love when he's got the biggest ceiling of all the defenders before the DPPs, which we'll get into later on. Semi Gilbert keeps getting it done. I mean, there was one game, he had a shocking game. Besides that, his lowest score, 83, and highest 95. So we'll wait to the end of the season for Scott to apologise for that one. I did change my trades from what I told Scott about last week, so I did bring in Fantasia this week, and I'm really happy with that score. That really helped me on the Monday. Marcus Adams, I'm giving him one more week, most probably, and that's because if you look at his scores this year, he scores well when it's against teams that play well against the Bulldogs. So against Hawthorn, it was a really even match. In fact, they lost to Hawthorn, and he scored 102 points. But when they're up against easy teams where they smash and it's not in their backline very often, he doesn't score well. This week he's got North Melbourne, which should be a good contest, and I reckon he'll score pretty well. I also brought in Matt D this week, so I'm not happy at all. That was a definite wrong trade, and I traded Wilson for him, which scored 87. So yeah, that really ticked me off. That was the low light of the round for me. And Tom Lee, after his 85, went down 30 points, so not really happy with that one. And then the first bad captain option of this year for me, David Zaharakis, 82 points. He had some...
Hold on. You said a bad captain option, Andy, but you keep beating me.
I keep beating you. I mean, You're on a new level of bad.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I went into the round and I saw Aaron Hall's score and I thought, Andy might have put him as captain. This would be nice. I could finally beat him for once. And then what do you know? Fife gets 59 and then gets injured. And then I look at your team and you've got Zaharakis as your captain. And I thought, I was actually surprised you put him as captain, to be honest. I thought it was a bit of a bad move on your behalf.
Yeah, he hadn't scored 100 against the Pies, but I just thought he's been in ripping form. He can't go under 100, so... Yeah, he had some very, very close attention from Levi Greenwood, so I don't know if that was a role for Levi, but yeah, he'll bounce back this week for sure. And then Lockie Hunter is my vice, 95. You'll take that. Callum Mills, another good game, and obviously I've already vented about Menadue and how Hewitt was on my bench, so I've lost 41 points there. So I really could have had a ripper score. Team. If I didn't trade this week, I would have had probably 80 more points if I put Hewitt on the field too. So anyway, we'll get to that. Maxi Gawn, 142. I loved that game. Was so amazing to watch. He was everywhere, clunking marks in the forward line. Amazing tap work as well in the ruck. So. And then Michael Barlow, like I've already talked about him. And then Sam Kerridge, obviously really good. And Jordan De Goey for his first 100 this year. Thank you very much. I've really held strong with him. He delivered me 60 the first week I traded him in, then a 70 last week. And he's really repaying the faith. He really looked good on the weekends. So, Jordan De Goey, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then my bench players didn't do too well, so 43, 54. Hewitt actually was pretty good. And then the same rocks as Scott. And then Mitch McGovern, 62 against Hawthorn. So that's not too bad either. So I guess we'll get into trades for this week. Do you want to...
Hold on. Look at your score
yeah. That wasn't deliberate either. So 2,030... And Scott, do you want to read out my rank? I'll let you do that one.
I would like to. Looks like 40,800 there, Andy.
No, you read that one wrong. I'm now within the top 5K, so I moved up 5,000 ranks, and I am in a fantastic position, Scott. You got to admit that. I'm really primed to push into maybe the top 500 this year. I don't know.
Well, I did say last week you looked to get into the top 5,000 ranks this week.
I've done that.
And you've done just that, so congratulations on your behalf.
Thank you very much. And if you look at the remaining salary, I did that score with 135k in the bank, so it's going to help out this week a lot. So anyway, we'll move into trades then, Scott.
Yep, what are you looking at doing this week, Andy?
Okay. I did write this down. So... This was before the DPPs came in, so I might fiddle with that. But Clay Cameron's going to move for Darcy Burn-Jones, who is an absolute star and an absolute find for the dying Port Adelaide team. So he is the shining light there, and he will continue to score like he is doing now. Trust me on that one. And then Sam Gray needs to go, and I'm thinking about Still Sidebottom, who's going absolutely huge this year. So, yeah, those are probably going to be my trades this week.
So you're going to go Burn-Jones over Wagner then?
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Alright, fair enough. I prefer Wagner myself, but that's alright. Into my trades, I hope I have 8 trades this week because that's how many I need to do. First off, I've got about 250k in the bank, so one of my trades that I might do this week, I might go D up to... one of the new DPPs that have come in, so Bernie Vince or James Kelly.
Ooh,
might go to one of them. People should know anyway, Andy. And then obviously I have to trade out 5, so he's a definite trade. So at the moment I'm going to go Lockie Neal, so that'll set me back 7k, so that's basically a straight swap for his
Getting
teammate.
his teammate, yep.
Yeah, heard on the Traders podcast that Lockie Neal plays very well when Fife is out.
Okay.
So that is good there. And then obviously another trade I might do, Parrish up to Hannah's.
Oh, yeah.
But I might want to save the money. And so then obviously if Montague's not playing, then I'll do a downgrade to Dane Zorko.
Yep.
Who I'm liking the look of very much at the moment.
You've only got 2 trades, Scott, remember?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Andy. I've got too many to do. And then obviously I want to do a downgrade Actually, no, wait, hold on. If Petrarca's playing this week, then I'll be going Corey Ellis or Menadue to him. And then obviously I'd like to do a downgrade with Ryan Davis or Clay Cameron. But that'll wait like 5 weeks because of all these injuries I'm getting.
Yeah, you'll probably get a couple more next week.
They're my next 5 weeks of trades.
Yeah, thanks for that, Scott. I'm sure everyone appreciated that.
Yep,
all right, and we'll hop into the DPPs. This is the full list that was released today, if you guys haven't already heard about it. Clay Cameron added forward, so that's going to be handy. Ryan Davis on our benches added forward. Nick Graham forward. Robbie Gray added forward. Camden McIntosh added defender status. So did Callum Mills. Bernie Vince is going to probably be in the top 6 defenders this year, so he's a defender as well. Aaron Young, we also have that one coming, adding forward. George Stewart on our benches added forward as well. James Kelly is going to be a really good defender for us this year. Will Langford added forward, and Jamie McMillan added midfield status. So
they're all the DPPs?
Those are all the DPPs, yeah.
I couldn't find a specific list. I don't know where you got that from.
That was on Twitter.
Okay, well, I wrote down a couple that I had seen from my eyes, and I don't think you said Robbie Gray, Andy.
I did, yeah.
You did? Okay, well, I'm sorry, I must have missed that one.
So speaking of Twitter, we're only on 18 followers, guys. Come on. The link will be in the description. We want to start growing that one, so make sure to visit us, and we'll start posting a bit more often.
Yeah, well, quickly with the DPPs, obviously Brandon Ellis didn't get defender status.
Yeah, I knew he wouldn't.
I was completely thrown back by that.
There goes your elite team.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I don't know. Yeah, but I couldn't understand why they did that. He'd been playing off halfback for the first 3 rounds.
I've just checked my elite team. No. I brought in Bernie Vince from free agency last week.
Oh, you're kidding!
Yes.
I looked for him this morning in the RFAs, and he wasn't there, and then I couldn't be bothered checking who had brought him in. I actually thought to myself, you know what, I might make a trade for him, for whoever's got him later on.
I'm happy now.
Why did you bring him in? There was so
I don't know,
because
I had a terrible midfield, and I'm like, I'll bring him in.
There were so many better options. I thought you were going to bring in Zeeble or someone else.
Oh, no way. I'm so happy now. All right. We better end the video. This one's going to be a long one, Scott.
No. Oh, my God. This is ridiculous.
Oh, I'm happy.
See how much luck he gets, guys? This is, and then compared to mine, I'm in the negatives. Hey, hold on. Speaking of the negatives, in the first 2 games, I only had 1 player, and that was Callum Mills. And he got -3 to begin the game. So my team was actually in the negatives before I had even had 1 player finish playing.
There you go.
So that was how bad my week was going to be. I was in the negatives to start off with, and it was just crap from there on.
All right. Thank you guys for taking some time out of your day to listen to me, mostly Scott vent and me brag. So make sure to tune in to next week's video as well. Visit us on Twitter, and make sure to comment below any questions or any comments you'd like to make about the fantasy week. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Take care, guys.